Why are you here for?
For MBA program.
No.
Can you give us
Coaching
an
line towards.
example of a brand who have really understood the consumer psyche?
So that can be done by anyone. Why do you need to be a specialist in psychology?
Is there a difference between consumer preference and consumer psychology?
Do
No,
I
sir.
need to study psychology for this? Would you like to have some water?
No, sir, I'm just a little nervous, I would say, because
You think he'll come up with something interesting? So Bisleri is a brand. Do you
Yeah.
know which company owns it?
Tata maybe.
That's a long story. Bhai, we are not having a fireside chat.
We'd like to show it to the camera. You can zoom in for our viewers who don't know what is scribbling.
Should I come in?
Come.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Hi.
Uh,
Hi Harsh. Have a seat.
Good evening, sir.
Be comfortable.
Sure, thank you.
Why are you here?
Sir, basically, I'm here for the interview
For?
for MBA program.
No, what he meant to say is you have done your Bachelor's of
Yeah.
Arts in Applied Psychology.
Okay,
So, don't you have plans to pursue Masters in, say, clinical psychology, industrial psychology? There's so many avenues. Why MBA?
So there is a long story behind it. So
Cut
basically,
it short and tell us.
yeah. So as a child, I was always interested in doing management and strategic games, basically. So this was interest that,
I'm sorry to cut you. No?
yeah.
As a child, you were interested in doing management games. I've never seen such children who are interested in management games from that age.
So there are games
You
like,
seriously were. I mean,
yeah, sir. There are games like strategy games, basically. So from the very starting, I had this interest in strategy, and in class 12th, I chose psychology for a reason or to improve myself. And then I realized that I'm more inclined towards organizational psychology, basically. Clinical psychology was not at all my forte, I would say. It was not my strength, and neither I was interested into it. Simply, it was a preference I had for organizational framework, organizational space I would like more to. So basically, the thing is, in India, if we see, organizational psychology has a very nascent stage, right? So MBA is something that is preferred. So I believe MBA with psychology is something that will be a good addition to my skill set, and I will be able to better provide the value.
So, what's your, long-term goal?
So my long-term goal is basically to pursue MBA in marketing. Actually, then, sorry, sir, may I take some time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Would you like to have some water?
No, sir, I'm just a little nervous, I would say, because
No
Fine.
problem.
yeah.
Just be comfortable.
Yeah. So, sir, the thing is, I want to raise in the position of strategy position in marketing. I want to combine the knowledge of psychology and some functional knowledge of marketing, and bring in something that can make the products sound more aligned to the customer. So basically, I want to include my knowledge of psychology into business and make it more aligned with the consumer's need and desires.
can you just elaborate a little bit? I mean, by telling me any example that you must have thought of.
Yeah.
That okay, this is where I feel that my psychology and MBA skills can come together.
Because most of the companies nowadays try to do it. They try
How
to make
would you do
products
it?
more relevant. So, what do you mean? Yes, give us some example.
Sure, sir. The thing is, when we talk about products, basically the desire of consumer is basically what is very important. According to me, I have read various books on psychology, and especially consumer psychology. I have read a lot about it and even watched some videos like by Rory Sutherland. So basically the thing is, in psychology and consumer psychology specifically, there is a thing called understanding consumer and making a product that is designed to satisfy the need of that particular consumer, right? As a consumer, we all are different. We have different needs, we have different desires, we have different personality altogether. So basically, the thing is, when we come to making a product, we have to make sure it suits well to each consumer desire.
But see, Harsh, what you are saying, it's already a part of MBA. There is a subject of consumer behavior where we study all these things. We have business analytics, right? There also we actually do the same thing. We analyze the consumer needs. We see, I mean, what do they want? What kind of products where we can put. So, is actually psychology of that need in that area? I don't think so. But still, if you can convince me for that.
Sure, sir. Sir, yes, there is a subject in psychology, subject consumer psychology in MBA. I agree about that. But the thing is, my background in psychology, I have studied psychology for 3 years. I've especially applied psychology. So basically, we have been taught to apply psychology everywhere, technically everywhere. So I believe I will be able to better absorb the knowledge from consumer psychology and become a better marketer, right, in that regard. So as a marketer, like if somebody, let's say, not coming from psychology, in that sense, I would be slightly better, be able to grasp the knowledge and make it more applicable in the actual business settings, right? From the very onwards, I'm very passionate about applying things, and that is something I'm very
So can you give
much
us an
inclined towards.
example of a brand, as per you,
Yeah.
who have really understood the consumer psyche and have done wonders?
Sure, sir. There are different, various brands, I would say.
Anyone which maybe you emulate or you like or you follow or you use. What brand?
So actually, it's not a brand that I use, but I have very convincing I've seen various convincing examples on this brand. This is Harley Davidson's motorbikes, right? So it's a brand which is totally based on getting the passionate consumers, right? Those consumers who are very passionate about Harley bikes. So Harley Davidson has made a brand. It has a community base. It has a excellent following in terms of various passionate people who are excited about bikes. They go on rally and everything. So I like the way they have
But don't you
structured the
think
product.
this is an innovative way of marketing rather than having knowledge of psychology? I mean, these are creative ways of bringing customer closer to your brand. So that can be done by anyone. Why do you need to be a specialist in psychology for this?
So to be honest, I feel it's not what I feel. Basically, it's about reality. The thing is, when I talk about I want to have this product, let's say this. Can I take it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's say this Mentos, right? So I like this Mentos because of my preferences. I'm a person. I'm an individual. I have personality, right? So it is the understanding the personality, understanding the consumer, why the person has chosen this candy and not the pink one. That is something question of psychology, right? Because when you have to deeply analyze the person itself. In case of Harley Davidson's bike, they have studied the consumer. They have understood the need of self, right? As a person, I'm inclined to express myself, right? I want to express what is myself, the things I am passionate about, right? So basically, David Harlison has sort of capitalized on this concept of self expression, that they had made a consumer based that is very, very excited about expressing themselves in a unique way. For example, the customers of Harley Davidson, they go on rallies, they organize events, they organize social workshops, and they actually travel long distances. So the thing is, this has attracted the number of people who have attached themselves as a self in terms of bikes, the passion towards bikes. And that is something I truly believe is
That's what I
worth
see, that what you are talking about is very individualistic.
Correct.
And I do not think that any brand would go to this micro level to understand things from an individual perspective. Of course, if you talk about Rolls-Royce, probably then I can say this. But Harley Davidson is not into that field where we can just sell 50, 60, 70 units.
Yeah, and
just
coming
we
back
can
to the example of
grow the
candy, so
business,
choosing the orange versus the pink, isn't that just consumer preference, or it's not so much deep rooted in psyche as much as just spur of the moment decision, or is there a difference between consumer preference and consumer psychology?
So definitely there is a difference between consumer psyche and consumer preference.
So
Preference
Mentos
can
would be what, psychology or preference?
Tell me one thing. Why do you think it's of orange color?
So it is meant to show that basically it's a tangerine flavor.
Correct.
So
So
they have-
will it make
yeah.
any sense of making it of pink color? Do
No,
I
sir.
need to study psychology for this?
Technically, sir, we like to consider the wrapper and see it as a product that is inside. So basically, the wrapper, the basic outlook of product, plays a very, very important role in choosing. These are what we call pulse, impulse buys, right? Nobody thinks so deeply about candy. That this is a candy and I need to buy this beforehand. They just buy it. It's an impulse buy. So there is like subconscious thing that is going on. We don't deeply think about it. It is there. We just go grab some candy and pay for it because it
Let me
doesn't
ask
cost
you one
much.
question. This is some brand water bottle. Okay, I prefer Bisleri.
Yeah.
So by using your knowledge of psychology, can you design some marketing strategy so that I buy this bottle next time? Take 2 minutes time if you want, but
Sure.
come up with some really interesting strategy, which I feel has come up with your knowledge of psychology.
Sure. All right, sir. I will like to do some.
You can take your time because we are talking about some strategy, and I expect it can't come immediately. So take your time.
So I would
But
need
convince
to
us about that.
ask little questions about the brand.
Sure.
So this is a new brand, right? And
Yes.
it basically sells water,
Yes.
Yeah.
packaged water.
Bottled water.
All right. So we are competing with Bisleri, which is a well-renowned
Established
brand,
brand,
right? Established brand. And okay, so we are going against the incumbent in the packaged water, basically. Oh, wait.
Do you think he'll come up with something interesting?
Let's see. Until now, I'm not very much satisfied.
Could you
with
walk us through your thinking process?
psychology getting
Sure,
into
sir.
this?
So the thing is, there is already a established brand in packaging water. And first of all, we need to do a competitive analysis, right? Competitive analysis is something which we do.
That's not psychology.
That's not- that's
I mean,
just
what
marketing.
is psychology? Yeah.
No, sir, we are
It's a very
introducing a
basic
brand
thing in
basically.
marketing.
Yeah, that's the
So it's a
fundamental.
marketing component will be there. I would say strategy component will be there. I've studied books on strategy also, especially by Michael Porter. So I think that is something important in this. But yeah, talking about psychology part, I do trust the water. Let's say if I'm a person who buys specifically Bisleri only, right? So what is the reason behind me buying Bisleri? First of all, we had to analyze the need or intentions of the buyer, right? Why I buy the Bisleri only, and what is the basic need that is satisfying?
That's market
satisfied?
research.
No, sir. Actually, we need to identify the customer, right? So we have to do a deep analysis on individual customer. We can do case study.
You can't do that.
For something as basic as water, bottled water, would you kind of go about segmenting the market and demographics and all of that? It's just bottled water. Are you trying to say that a teen buys bottled water for different reasons and an older person buys for different reasons? It's just bottled water.
So the thing is, we cannot quantify the consumers simply by segmenting them. I believe each consumer is different. There is individual differences in person, right? So basically, when we talk about, let's say, water bottle, what matters is color, price. These are things that matter. Basically, the color component,
Chalo, Harsh,
how we have
leave
positioned it,
this
where we
part,
are
I
Let's leave
think.
this
positioning
part. Yeah.
I'm just talking about this
Psychology.
Sadai Charitable Trust where you have worked recently. So, in what capacity you were working? What were you doing there?
And you mentioned that it resulted in 40% more
That I'm
partnership
actually interested
in the
in.
previous quarter.
In the
Yes.
very first month,
Can
40%.
you take us through that? How did you achieve that?
Sure, sir. So currently I'm working in Sadev. It's a NGO which is based in mental health. It promotes mental health in community. And I'm working as the outreach manager. So talking about the increase in 40% hike in these collaborations. So the thing is, up till now, my team, in NGO specifically, in social sector, it's a individual come for social service, right? There is no incentive, money-based incentive. So people come here and devote their time. So basically the thing is they are working on from their own desire. There's nobody who can say, yes, you have to work. So basically the thing is before me, there was some other person and we were focused on allocating tasks. We used to look at tasks, this is a situation and you have to do this, this. So basically there was lots of deadline faltering, right? Because the volunteer didn't used to follow the orders and everything. It happens basically. Sometimes it happens, the productivity is low and that is something that is to do with the volunteers' productivity. Right. So I came in, I just made sure, I sort of observed the thing because I was working in the team. I was observing how we were just allocating tasks and expecting the volunteers to do it themselves. I analyzed the situation. I did some problem sort of research on this, and I came up with a solution and presented it to the founder of the NGO. That is, the problem is we are not focusing on the volunteers. We are not focusing on the bigger purpose. Volunteers are coming here because of certificate. And we need to make them understand that the work they're doing is very big. It has a bigger purpose in life. So what I did as an outreach manager, I sat with my team. We did a long workshop in which we did a sort of interaction. We had a good interaction with everybody. We understood their desire. We understood their need. Why you are in this table? Why are you here?
So you made them understand the broader objective.
Yes.
And because of that, the output increased. Is it?
No, sir. I would like to just point out one more thing here. We as an individual tend to sort of like the things we do. That's the IKEA ideology, you know. IKEA is basically a thing when we do something by our own, we make a product, we design it, and then we have it. So we tend to like it more. Similarly, if the volunteer thinks that the strategy that he's following is something created by himself, we have to make them think that this is the idea that is given by you, not us. When they think the idea to be theirs, they work harder.
Okay,
And
so you
that
made them
brings
take
in
the
more.
ownership and you rewarded them with the achievement.
Yes.
They feel sense of achievement that their idea has been implemented.
Yes, sir.
So I see social service, I see NGOs as well. Can you tell us something about how the NGOs in India are getting negatively impacted because of the FCRA Act? Would you know the full form of FCRA?
I guess it is about, so I'm not exactly sure about it, but I would like to take a guess about it. It's about foreign currency regulation. It's basically the money that currency is coming from outside India.
How is that
There are some
impacting
restrictions on that.
NGOs?
So the thing is, it is actually impacting the foreign funding that is coming to NGOs. The problem which started because of this thing is it was brought to light because of some terrorist activities that were going on. Government was trying to cut off the funding of terrorists, right, in India. Some illegal activities going on, black money laundering and everything. So government was trying to make sure that the outside funds are not available for inside illegal activities like politics, maybe something, right? So they did basically one of the main route of this through funding of the terrorism in India was through NGOs, because you can just fund money from NGO, and that NGO used to give a lot of the fund to terrorism. So that is something that was going against the national security, and government did a ban it. Government banned the thing, and there were strict restrictions that were put on there. Yes, if there is funding, then you have to tell the proper source and everything. So there is very, very strict restriction on foreign funding, and those NGOs that were actually genuinely working for it, they were getting a good funding, as well as they were actually contributing something to society. They were negatively impacted in this regard.
See,
And
you
fair
spoke
enough.
about that you wanted to work in marketing, of course, and then you would like to understand and mix the two. So what do you have a dream company in mind or something that you would want to be a part
Which
of?
industry sector would you like to work? Is it like FMCG or some other industry?
So my sector, technically, I'm more inclined towards FMCG. FMCG is my sector. Basically, I've studied about neuromarketing also, how impulse buy actually makes sense, and how it can increase the sales and decrease the sales at the same time. There are various strategies in neuromarketing also. So this is something, FMCG is very, very interesting sector when it comes to marketing, right? Because you
Three
tend to.
Indian FMCG companies, can you name them?
Sure, sir. So it can be Nestle,
Indian.
Indian.
Indian. Oh wait, Parley, and I need to think a bit about it.
That's what.
Bisleri.
Bisleri is
It's
packet
not
drinking water.
FMCG.
You can't call it FMCG.
Okay, so but I guess this is also fast moving.
Acha, Bisleri is a brand. Do you
Yeah.
know which company owns it?
Tata maybe. I'm not sure about it, sir. I'm taking guess here.
We're asking for companies, not for products.
Have you heard of ITC?
Yes, sir. Indian Tobacco Company.
Have you heard of Britannia?
Yes, sir.
These are all Indian companies.
Okay, sir. I actually sort of it slipped my mind. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Harsh, you have throughout worked with some NGOs, what I see, I mean, in extracurricular activities as well, you have worked with that. I just want to know that working with these NGOs throughout all these years, how has it impacted your life? What major change it has brought in your life?
Okay. So from the very starting in my college years onwards, I was interested in social work. I did a minors in social work also to understand what is the scenario. Basic thing is I believe in contributing back to society. Right. I'm living in a country where our majority of population.
No, his question is very simple.
Yeah.
What have you gained from that? What have you learned from that?
Oh, it's cutting back to the chase. I have learned empathy. I've learned how to understand people, because I have worked with several diverse population. They come up with different perspective. They come up with different ideas. They come up with different situation. I need to be empathetic about them, about the situation. I have to put myself in their shoes to understand the problem. If I don't understand them, how would I contribute to their problem? So I mean, how would I improve the problem situation? Simply, right?
Tell us something about your family.
So my family is basically I have mother, father, and my two siblings.
What does your father do?
My father he owns a nursery, plant nursery. It's a small plant business where we bring plants from different parts of country and sell it here in Delhi.
What are your hobbies?
My hobbies are scribble art. Scribble art is a very niche field of art. in which we use pencil lines, pen lines, simply ordinary pen, and we bring out a figure on the paper.
Can you show
through random
something?
solution. Sure, sir. I can definitely show.
Yeah, please.
It will take me around 30 seconds to make a very rough figure.
Free to take your time.
Yeah. So it would be better if there is a pen. If is there?
Can you please
Use
provide the pen?
use what you have currently. Is it possible for you to?
Sure, sir. The thing is that it won't give that same effect, but I will try.
Have you heard of scribbling art?
No. I've heard of doodling. I've never heard of it. We've heard of that.
Acha. Let's give 30 more seconds.
So this is just a face structure that I made. You can have a look at it.
It looks scary.
Yes.
Is this your
It
inner
looks
state?
like
No,
some
sir, no,
kids
definitely
is
not.
drawing, has just learned to pick pencil and drawing something.
That's what scribbling is.
But does it represent something?
Actually, sir, it doesn't represent as such. There is no inner thing here. It is just a way of a medium in which you can create ordinary figures. You can create. So, see, the thing is, the purpose of art in itself is a bigger purpose, right?
I like it.
It's about expressing things that cannot be expressed by words or cannot be expressed by just body language, right? It's something deeper. Everybody has different interpretation of the same thing, and art gives them the platform where they can project themselves, right? For example, you saw this painting, you will see it differently than maybe this, sir. So the thing is here, basically, it's about the perception of the seer, the person who is seeing the picture. So I would say this is a platform simply.
Okay. We would like to show it to the camera. If you can zoom in for our viewers who don't know what is scribbling. Yeah,
Scribbling art.
fair enough.
Okay. Harsh, again, what I'm observing is great profile, good, exposure, but the thoughts are not coming out in a clear and concise and funneled manner. I don't think even one question ka answer, you keep going around, we have to pull you back. Okay, Harsh, this is the question. And this is what you're supposed to communicate.
I mean, looking at you, I see psychology, I don't see MBA. सही बताओ बात मतलब the way you speak, the things that you speak, everything is like a psychologist is speaking.
Pretty much.
And that's one of my weakness, to be honest.
No, that's fine.
मतलब
That's
your
fine.
face
He
speaks
reminds
psychology.
us that Patrick Jane, mentalist.
The way of speaking and then everything, मतलब the words that you desires, needs, individualist and मतलब ये सब वो psychology वाला feel दे रहा है.
Chalo, but let's talk about the positives. See, we see a relaxed person. Even if you're nervous, you're not showing it, which is good. You did not crack under pressure.
When he said that, I'm nervous. You didn't look nervous.
And
actually.
we were very glad. Because, see, vulnerability is a sign of, composure. So you were vulnerable. It's okay. And that was great. And we gave you that. In fact, even I think we also sort of softened it. So it was smart thinking on you too, kind of. But then the fact that the first question that came and you're like, that's a long story. Bhai, we are not having a fireside chat. So immediately sir said, please cut it short.
Yeah.
So avoid using such kind of terms. Again, Harsh, you use no. And you also said, okay, cutting back to the chase. You got impatient. Okay? So please don't get impatient. Don't let it show. These loosely phrases.
I'll just add something here. You need to appreciate time, right? I mean, whatever interview you go for, you have got IIM Ahmedabad called, right?
Yeah.
And we all wish you convert it because you have all the ingredients to
You
convert
have diversity,
that call. The
you'll
only
bring
thing is
something to
you
the
just
table.
need to fine tune certain areas.
Yeah.
So let's hope that at the end of this feedback session, you implement that and you come out well. Right. So for example, you need to appreciate time and you need to mention things such a way that we do not cut you short.
Yeah.
Right. For example, let me tell you briefly about that. Let me tell you briefly. But they will understand. Or when you are giving example also, just be very clear in your mind what you're going to speak. And I always suggest the rule of 3-4 lines. What if you want to speak out? Particular point should be wind up in 3 to 4 points. So you will not be cut short.
Harsh, I thought you contradicted yourself at a lot of points. Jahan pe you started with consumer psychology. Then you went into impulse behavior. Then you also said mentors mein to impulsive hai, spontaneity hai. Then where is the psychology? And then you got into the color. जहाँ पे sir also said ये orange क्यों है? You give a very layman answer saying that a tangerine
See,
है ना.
I'll tell you. You mentioned something about subconscious mind.
Correct.
So here you could have relate your study of subconscious mind to this one.
Okay.
ठीक है? But now you also need to understand. See, marketing has evolved based on using the concepts or principles of psychology, right? So I mean, it will become very difficult for you to justify that you have done something additional. I mean, unless you come up with some really good example, just like sir said, organizational behavior is part of your subject. ठीक है? मार्केटिंग में भी काफी सारे प्रिंसिपल आपके साइकोलॉजी को ध्यान में रख के ही बनाए गए. करेक्ट. सेगमेंटेशन, पोजीशनिंग एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स, राइट?
एक और चीज़ जो मुझे लगी हर्ष वो ये कि देखो जब आई अपीयर्ड फॉर IIM अहमदाबाद इंटरव्यू वे बिफोर, तो उस साल क्या हुआ, सेम पैनल राइट, they interview a list of students throughout the day. They start at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. 6 p.m. So if I'm going there at 4 p.m. let's say, मेरा नंबर बहुत लेट आया.
Correct.
By that time they're very impatient.
And they're tired.
टायर्ड होते हैं. और ऐसे में अगर मैं आपसे सवाल पूछूं,
Yeah,
when you answer very calmly,
Loosely, correct.
they'll lose patience at that stage. They'll lose patience.
Okay.
In the morning at 10 a.m. they probably can have all the time and they can take this interview
Correct,
to 1 hour. But शाम को तो वो इंटरव्यूज भी जो है ना 15 मिनट के 10 मिनट के करने लग जाते हैं. उन्हें पता है खत्म करना है आज. So you have to read the language of the panelists as well. What are they looking at? Are they being a little in hurry? If they are, cut short your answers, be a little fast to answer the questions. If they want to listen to you calmly, completely, ठीक है, तो आप कर सकते हैं कि आप पूरा आंसर दें. लेकिन थोड़ा सा उनकी भी लैंग्वेज को आपको समझना होगा कभी कभार. ये होता है कई बार. जैसे, और ये पैनलिस्ट टू पैनलिस्ट भी डिपेंड करता है भाई कौन सामने बैठा है. अब मेरा पर्सोना अलग, आप तो साइकोलॉजी की बात ही कर रहे हैं, मेरा पर्सोना अलग है, सर का अलग है, उन सर का अलग है. तो कौन आदमी, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कोई इम्पेशेंट हो रहा है हर बात जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ. सो पॉसिबली आई हैव टू लुक एट दैट.
द बेस्ट वे टू डू इट इज थोड़ा सा और रिसर्च करो आप. डेफिनेटली देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच यू आर एडिशनली ब्रिंगिंग ऑन टेबल बिकॉज ऑफ योर बैकग्राउंड दैट अदर्स आर नॉट ब्रिंगिंग. For example, an engineer brings with him that analytical skills, and the quantitative skills. Someone from BCom brings in strong knowledge of taxation and accounts and all, right? Similarly, you are bringing certain knowledge with you, but you need to relate it. For example, when we ask, you want to pursue your career in the field of marketing, you want to grow at a higher level, ठीक है? तो आपको ये दिखाना पड़ेगा how you are different and what additional, what advantage you have. ठीक है, एंड यू विल हैव टू रिलेट इट. फॉर एग्जांपल, जैसे मैंने कहा,
एक एग्जांपल जैसे हम मांग रहे थे वो होना चाहिए था आपके पास. वन एग्जांपल वेयर साइकोलॉजी कैन रिलेट विद मार्केटिंग, वो आप नहीं बता पा.
अब देखो, मैं एक सिंपल वे में बताता हूँ कि मार्केटिंग, जैसे मैंने कहा कि साइकोलॉजी के प्रिंसिपल को इंक्लूड किए गए, लेकिन ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता सारे प्रिंसिपल को इंक्लूड किए गए. तो आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा, आपको थोड़ा सा जो MBA का सिलेबस है उसको स्टडी करना पड़ेगा, मार्केटिंग के सब्जेक्ट्स को स्टडी करना पड़ेगा, और आपको समझना पड़ेगा साइकोलॉजी के कौन से प्रिंसिपल इसमें यूज हो गए हैं और कौन से नहीं हुए. जो प्रिंसिपल नहीं यूज हुए उसके ऊपर कोई एग्जाम्पल बना के तैयार रखो कि अगर आपको पूछते हैं कि यार what additional advantage do you have, तो आप कह सकते हो कि yes sir, for example I studied this which no one else would have studied. ठीक है ना? नहीं तो मैं ये कह दूंगा यार मार्केटिंग इज ऑल अबाउट क्रिएटिविटी, इनोवेशन, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल बिहेवियर, ये सारे सब्जेक्ट्स आपके आते हैं MBA में, तो मुझे साइकोलॉजी की जरूरत ही क्या है?
Possibly Nano can be a very good example if you use it.
Which field?
Tata Nano
because they understood the consumer psyche, but then it was a marketing failure or a branding failure because they positioned it very badly.
And they publicly agreed we could not understand the public psyche.
Yeah, correct. And that is why the Nano never took off. आपका why MBA also यार थोड़ा work on it, script and answer. ठीक है? Because I'm watching you right now compose the answer in your head while you're talking. It's fine. That's what the objective of mock interviews is. But now that you know this, script it, write it, fine tune it, practice it so that it comes out very well. So you have a very, like sir said, very good profile. Let's just kind of now reach there.
You're almost there.
Almost there.
ठीक है, almost there.
इंटरव्यू के अंदर आपके 10 क्वेश्चन अगर आपको पूछे जाते हैं, उसमें से 4 से 5 क्वेश्चन आप पहले से प्रेडिक्ट कर सकते हो. Tell me something about yourself. Why MBA? Your long-term goal. For example, when we ask about long-term goal, you started with short-term goal. कि यार मुझे MBA करना है. नहीं यार, I am talking about future vision. So sir, I would like to be heading the complete marketing department and the marketing strategy of a reputed organization, preferably in FMCG sector. Done. That should be the line.
Yeah.
Or possibly a firm providing consultation to all the other companies where marketing and psychology are working together in a way.
So straight away, when we say long-term goal, मतलब आप 10-15 साल बाद का, 15-20 साल बाद का यहाँ पे मुझे सीधा बता रहे हो कि तुम यहाँ पे हो, ना कि वो steps. ठीक है? तो ये सारी चीज़ आप प्लीज ड्राफ्ट करो, sit on table and jot down your thoughts. Okay, what you would do. ठीक है ना? So it would really help.
Okay, all is good.
Done, sir.
Yep.
All the best.
Okay.
Do well, Harsh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was insightful. I will definitely work on this. I need to be concise and form the answers well, articulate right.
You want to ask something from us as well?
Sir, I'm just sort of curious about it. When we talk about marketing and psychology, let's say I'm putting it in the practice, right? So as you mentioned, the organizational behavior is already there, and I'm bringing psychology, and let's say there is nothing apart from there. Basically, organizational behavior includes all the psychology, right? So can I say
first
this?
of all,
Yeah.
organizational behavior is one of the subjects.
Yeah.
It's
There's-
not marketing subject, it's a general subject. Just like in the first year of your MBA, you'll be studying HR subjects, marketing subjects, finance subjects and all.
Yeah.
Similarly, the organizational behavioral subjects.
And organizational behavior is more of HR subject. I'm talking about consumer behavior, which is
Correct.
basically
It's
marketing.
not. It's one of the aspects is psychology. It's not holistically psychology. Organization behavior or even consumer behavior.
Consumer
जो आपको बाद में
Possibly you
ऐसा-
can
correct,
think
correct.
of something where psychology brings an edge over that consumer behavior, something extra above that. Possibly you can talk about a field where that individualistic things matter. I mean, आप FMCG में शायद psychology का ऐड ना कर पाओ, लेकिन if you talk about, let's say, you want to become a sports manager or something, let's say, मतलब celebrities को manage करना है, possibly that psychology you can use over there. But I'm just thinking aloud. कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ जहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि मतलब बहुत, जैसे हार्ले डेविडसन की बजाय थोड़ा सा ऐसा होता है जहाँ पे आप इंडिविजुअल कस्टमर्स को ट्रीट कर रहे हैं, पॉसिबली साइकोलॉजी कैन वर्क देयर। एफएमसीजी में थोड़ा मुश्किल
एक पॉइंट रह गया, मैंने लिखा था, आई हैव यू मेंशन समवेयर, आई हैव रेड अ लॉट अबाउट दैट and watched lots of videos on that. We were discussing something and you mentioned this line. So just don't mention such lines. I have read a lot about this. Convey that through your knowledge. They should feel that you have really read a lot about that rather than you saying I have read a lot about that. तो ये ध्यान रखना, ठीक है?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Harsh. All the best.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.